acceptance and surrender to what is. So the way we show up in the world today is aspirational. Advertising, marketing, the things that people have that we think we need to have to define our success. If we take a step back and we just look at where we are in life and we accept that in full gratitude for what we do have and surrender to that as a giving in to the flow, not a giving up, but just to surrender and have faith. And in that moment, there is nothing but abundance and prosperity. If you can be in that moment, there's no lack there.
Hello, welcome to our show. I'm honored to have N.S. Shetty, and also we call her Dr. Natasha. Dr. N.S. Shetty was born in UK but now living in India. She is an author, speaker, and mentor. With her diverse training and life experience, her expertise is guiding people to cure themselves of physical diseases by exploring the metaphysical connection. Her mission in life is to have conversations about death and to free people to enjoy their life now. Wow, that is so powerful. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Just stay right now. And good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I am curious about, is anything kind of spark you and become who you are today?
Wow, that's a loaded question to start off with. Okay, so I just turned 50, and that's been a turning point in my life. Now is the start of my life in the second half. It's about integration. It's about bringing all my life experiences, like you mentioned, to serve me and others. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, although I'm not a medically accredited doctor. N.S. Shakti is my pen name. I author under N.S. Shakti, and all my activities that I do are N.S. Shakti, and the N.S. stands for Natasha Sharma. So please call me Natasha. I worked in the hustle bustle, glamorous industry of advertising in my youth. I can say that now. And 10 years ago, I started my second career, which is that of clinical hypnotherapy. And I amassed a lot of experience and other modalities on my way, because anyone who works in this line of work understands that no one modality is the key. It's always holistic and circular. Growth cycle is a spiral, as is everything in nature. And as we heal and learn on our self-awareness journey, we'll also learn that no matter what modality we embrace or modalities together, all roads ultimately lead to Rome. So whether someone's doing mindfulness practice with yoga, with a good diet, it's still about understanding what's inside and integrating that to the outside. And more that you go within, and Sunny, you know this from your own practices, that all that really matters is what's inside. The outside is just a reflection of what is inside. So whether it is how we feel about our bodies or how we think about ourselves, it's how we will look at others. So all the keys are inside us.
That's so true. And only people mature enough to see that point, right? I reflect myself when I was 30, 40. No, I'm just try to do whatever I think I want to. And I get to the point gaining weight, then and high blood pressure, and very exhausted all the time and confused about why I'm here. I don't enjoy here, why I'm still here. Then it, just like you said, 50, it's like a timing, right? It's about to see things differently and revert that attention to yourself. You actually start early because you say 10 years ago, right? So if waking up a little bit early. So I wonder if anything in your life, if you would need to share, get the foundation or pave the path for you to start shifting. Would you mind sharing some of the story like this?
So I believe at my core that we're all here for a reason. A lot of communication out there on social media is talking about this, your purpose of life, and find your purpose. And personally, like you accurately said, it's been 10 years, and those 10 years have been in my 40s. And there has been immense growth. And See, I'm not putting too much focus on the chronological age, but what I am sharing is my reflection of my life lived. When I look at my 20s, there's a theme in that decade. It doesn't stop the day you turn 30 necessarily. There is a little bit of, like the waves hitting the shore on the beach. I mean, but my 20s had a theme, which, you have the energy, despite your human design type, you have the energy, and you may not be in the right career, but you still have the spirit to make it happen anyway. You have the force of will, and it's the driving force. And then the 30s is a little bit more like settling down into your career path, getting married, having children, whatever, however it looks to whoever. And then the 40s is when I pivoted, and my growth in terms of my self awareness journey really hit a lot of levels. There was a lot of up leveling. And at every stage, I felt I could help myself, I could help everyone else. And that happened because my career of the 30s that I had pursued in my 20s and 30s hadn't led me to the level of success that I needed to be. And I therefore chose to turn into a different career, which was more about service. And that's why I
Mhm.
studied clinical hypnotherapy. And that is what transformed my life, because in any healing modality, any practitioner will first work on themselves, heal themselves before they try to heal anyone else. And that's when my
Yes.
journey into myself started.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, you mentioned about 10 years, 10 years, right? The things I'm going to talk about later is the gene keys. That's reflect to the Chinese hexagram, the very ancient system we call I Ching, the book of changes. So when I think our ancestors have the system, just kind of show us it's a symbol, it's a different line, 6 lines. So each line actually is about 10 years. And
Oh,
so the first 3 lines, that's like lower trigram and upper trigram, right? So the lower trigram, that 30 years, is really for us to prepare for the service we are going to offer after 40. So that first 10, it'll be just childhood imprinting, learning how to manage our emotions. Then second, like between 10 and 20 is really teenagers, and you have this navigation, how to control emotion and how to deal with the authority. So you
yeah.
have that shift, right? And the 30, just like you say, start to engage with the community, society, and start to position ourselves, like who I am, what kind of a service or impact I want to create. But just like when you come to the 40, it's not exactly sharp, like exactly you turn 40, you got different realization, just like you said, this is a holistic. So it's like naturally will enter to different phase. So after that, 45, 50, 60 is really the starting point for our vocation. That is how you really design here to do. Based on your human design, you are the projector. Projectors definitely need generator around them to give them more power. Sometimes we're guilty for the the thing we put you through because generator, sometimes we are not happy ourselves. We feel the energy feel with anger, frustration, resentment, grief, sadness. And people like you have an open system and you will feel something we felt. And even double that distorted energy. So as a projector, did you feel sometimes you can be very situational? You have any story you want to share?
Well, for sure. If you're asking me to look back like that, I can see that. I feel that I am actually, I would say, divinely protected and guided. Like,
Mm,
I spoke to you about my 30s and 40s. I understand human design. I am living my projector experiment, but I didn't know this thing that you shared about the I Ching having the 3 lines in the way that you explained it today. And I organically spoke about it without it's not that I was sharing my understanding. And that happens to me a lot in life. And I
mhm,
think my theme that dominated my professional life before I turned to the healing arts was just being misunderstood. I've always had the energy to hustle and bustle because I was young. And maybe I had the right mix of generators and manifesting generators around me. I don't know that part of their designs, but given the
Mhm.
way that I
Mhm.
have worked, it amazes me. But I have gone like 48 hours straight without sleeping because I had to finish a film. I then slept for 24 hours. I have always been I've always been a night person. And today I
Uh-huh.
understand it because of my design that at the nighttime everything's off. So even though the generators are giving out their energy, it's still less, and I don't have to amplify it because, I'm in a sort
Mm.
of a vacuum. And that's the life I've created for myself. I live in India, but all my clients are in North America. So I do the graveyard shift. I sleep in the day and I work all night, and that works for me. But what I'm trying to say is that in my professional life, rather than the energy, I think it's where, as a projector, because I could see and I can guide and I knew the solutions, I kept on getting hired to do sales, kept on getting hired to do marketing because I got along with everyone. But ultimately, it never made me happy because I never really felt seen or heard. And that bitterness theme, it was there. Like I can literally taste that bitterness on my tongue.
Oh,
I
wow.
It turns
Mm.
when I'm in a conversation that doesn't feel right, my saliva turns
Mhm.
to a different taste. And today I know it's the bitterness thing, and that is my guide.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Because the other system, like a deeper than the human design chart, is called primary health system,
Mhm.
the cognition. Everybody's defined differently on that level. So people can be the smell, taste. I think you might be the taste person. I'm the smell person. So whenever I can smell the person, this is the good friend or not,
Mm.
very quickly. And someone has an inner region and outer region, someone can be sound. So we have this deeper system. Just like you say, everybody can see you, can hear you, but the deep one is only we can go in to really connect to that part. People see us, hear us is only just the top of the expression. But the base, how we vibrate that way is all in there.
Mhm.
So if we not go deep there to do tune up or clean up, then all the expression is off. It's not really who we are, right? Only we have access to it. Healer can do some activation, but it's still we are the one to let go. So we are holding the key. I think you mentioned that too. Like we have all the keys to unlock whatever we have, then we can live a much better life. And
Absolutely.
you are doing all the great job to help people through your therapy and consultation. Would you like to maybe think about one client, what kind of a transformation she or he experienced?
So initially, as you read out my introduction, my specialization was in curing physical diseases from the metaphysical mind,
Mhm.
body, soul thing,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
everything we go through in our physical bodies is a result of what we think and what we feel. And of course, what we put into our bodies and all those are the second layers. And primarily is how we feel about ourselves is mental and it
Yeah.
is emotional. And it could be spiritual if there's a learning in there. Certain illnesses come into us to teach us a lesson, how to deal with life, how to do the acceptance. If we're not working on ourselves, then the acceptance lesson is going to be taught to us some way or the other. And the body is one of the tools that the universe uses, as well as our subconscious mind. So initially, when I was doing this as a specialization, I've had miracle cures with a woman coming to me who had necropathy of her knee. So her kneecap was the doctors had told her was dead, like the muscle around it was dead. And they were offering experimental surgery, like putting a mesh net in her knee and stuff. And she used to run marathons for her company. And she literally just walk a little bit when she came
Mhm.
to me. And then we did hypnotherapy on her and she runs now.
Mm.
The emotional connection
Yeah.
for her in the end that she unlocked for herself with my guidance, because I don't have any magic pill. I just hold a space and
Mhm.
I guide people to find their own answers because I cannot know their stories. No matter how much they share with the therapist, we can't know. And therapists that pretend to
Yes.
know are coming from their own experience. Actually, it's not the client.
Mhm. Mhm.
So sometimes it's really tempting to say, I know what's wrong with you because you've taken their history. But then when they actually find the answers, it has more often than not surprised me because my guess has not been right. So it's good I didn't share it. There's some other thing within them that's the right answer. Like for her, it
Mhm.
was her coach. Her coach was pushing her too hard. The coach also liked her and she was
Mhm.
married and she was not interested in him. So on a subconscious level, she set off this a set of circumstances to make sure she was disqualified for the marathon. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Mhm.
once we
Mhm.
worked together, then she healed that.
Mhm.
And now she can run because she wants to. She doesn't have to be in training in the marathons because that's not what she really
Yes, yes.
desires. So that's one example.
Wow.
Now I
Mhm.
specialize in self worth and your money story.
So healing the money relationship is very, very important right now. Yeah.
It
Mhm.
is because it's connected to your self worth. When a person receives a bill, if they feel bad, then the story goes way back into childhood and maybe even beyond to the ancestral story. I've realized if I come to it, because I have to really convince people to understand the mind body connection in my specialization.
Mhm.
I can still do that. So clients have come to me, signed up to me for the money story, but said, "Oh, I have hip pain. Can we work on that?" So it all ultimately all comes together anyway, because without a high
Exactly.
sense of self-worth, you cannot be making
Mhm.
$1 trillion.
Definitely. We all program in a way, we all have the limitation about the abundance. We really don't need to relive our parents or grandparents, everybody's life, right? We all have this right to try, but it needs to be relevant. You need to go deeper to connect with your true worth. You start to realize we are the ones to choose not to live the life
Mhm.
because we don't want to hurt someone, or we don't feel comfortable to own a fancy car. We don't want a big diamond ring on our finger. It just really just we choose not to, right? It's
Exactly.
not nobody say you couldn't, but they can say it. But if you don't trust it, you can just play with it. Gene keys got 3 different sequences: activation, Venus, and Pearl. The imprinting is all in the Venus sequence. So the 0 to 7, the imprinting for your relationship with yourself in environments. Then you have 7 to 14, that is your emotion strategies. Then you have 14 to 21, that is how to fit in, how to perform and make impact. I really enjoy you share about your client experience, even for physical. Is that magical, right? We can even just talk it out.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely. And
yeah.
you're right. The word is magic. Like when I witness my clients' transformations, I'm always amazed. That awareness of where the answer lies is so magical. It's like a switch. Once you've identified which switch it is, and the light comes on, it just comes on, and then there is like magical transformation. I mean, like your what you described about the sequences and the life path, that's the same as our in clinical hypnotherapy, what we call the theory of the mind. And it's the same, it's exactly the
Mhm.
same thing, 0 to 8, and then 8 to 13, and then 13 to 21. And that is the foundation of human design, right? Where you have to decondition, which means
Mhm.
we really need to just
Yeah.
learn to live in the present moment, really understand. And that's my work right now. That's what I do with people, help them release all the imprinting, deconditioning. That's what it is. And that's why it's a self worth,
Yeah.
because the more you
Mhm.
decondition, the more you understand how valuable you are today. And one of the
Yes.
most,
Yes.
I'll just give an example. It was very insightful, but this client I've been working with for over a year now with the money and the self worth, she got a revelation last week that her core guilt is when she spends money. She feels guilty to spend money. And that for her, obviously, if you're going to feel guilty to spend money, then no matter how much money you have, it's never going to be enough.
Wow. Yeah, I think look at that. If we get out our money blocks, we don't even need to worry about money coming from, because think about we kind of like believe the money is a security. Money is something we can exchange for our security,
Mhm.
right? Buying the food, living the place, and have some chance to travel. This is because we love to do. It's a lifestyle. I think that's one type of deconditioning too. Like you cannot really define our worth by a number. The number is
Exactly.
just because someone said, okay, your salary is this and that at this price. You want to buy a dozen of egg. That's the number. But it's the current system. We have to honor that because that is the only way at this point. But I believe we have multiple ways once we start to heal our relationship with the money, the self-worth, have a more playfulness. You travel different continents. For example, women, do they have a very different view about success, about life?
So, I mean, that's a very complex socioeconomic question. But again, I'm saying that in my personal life, that I've, it remains to reveal itself. But I am divinely protected and put in certain circumstances to force me to live my design. Like 0 to 8, I lived in England. So my imprinting, everything that you know that happens between 0 to 8 happened to me Western. So my first language, my food preferences, my conditioning is is Western. But at the age of 8, I was brought to the East and I lived here from 8 to 16. And then again, when I had to start testing myself, I went back to England from 16. So every time that I'm actually supposed to assimilate and learn and be conditioned, the universe made sure was taken somewhere else, taken somewhere else. That is
Oh,
how
wow.
I am at a soul level, so independent. So there is some reason that this has been my trajectory, but the socioeconomic question that you asked, I will say that in India, when you talk about educated women who live in the metro cities and their perspective towards work and their work ethic and their ideas of success, exactly the same as the West. All women right now are leading both men roles and women roles. They're going out, they're working, they're earning money, they're coming home, they're taking care of their homes and their children. And for less pay than
Cool.
men. And that's a global situation. That's not it's not contained to either East or West. And that's what I'm
Yeah,
working
yeah.
with now, which is every person has to, regardless of their gender, has to go within and tap into their divine essence. And just like estrogen and testosterone, everyone has the divine feminine and divine masculine inside.
Yes.
And for success and happiness, it has to be balanced. So
Yeah.
ultimately, we go back to the ancient philosophies like Hinduism and Buddhism and any other ism you can think of, which talks about balance.
Yeah, yeah, harmony. We have to work together. Like, so nothing separate from the whole.
Exactly.
We feel like we have this free will. We can do whatever. There's nothing wrong with that view. But I think when you or get into more of the conflicts, like me, I just say, why do I constantly have a conflict? Then I finally realize I'm just not living with my design. I'm supposed to more this, but then because the conditioning, because the insecurity, right? Then you're just forced, well, doing something like supposed, but it's not aligned, just like a pipe. You're misaligned, you got this energy coming out from the connection. So you don't feel energized, you feel like even more exhausted because you try to force out, you leak out more, right? So I think it's just the human design system or the Taurus system, I would say, provide us a bigger view about the connection and about how we choose what we need to do in a certain moment. I honor my design. I flow with what I like to do. I think that is actually doing great contribution to the society because we don't fit those anger, bitterness, and frustration, all the negativity to the field because we live by our design. We love what we are and who we are. I think that would be good if everybody know there's data, there is a way, there is a technique or tools can really get us getting here.
Yeah.
And without going out there to say where, what's my purpose and where is the money, all that. It's not out there. Well, if you feel okay, I would like to share some insight based on your pearl sequence from the
Please.
gene keys.
This is going to be
that okay?
fascinating.
So I mentioned about there's a 3 sequences, right? The activation is really the doing and being, how to align. Then the second one is the imprinting process. And the last one is after you know your gift and after you clean out all this false belief and all the conditions, then you are in a point to try your vocation. So vocation is a business. But the more I understand, the business is not really a business outside. Is you work along with it with your own core, then you create some offer or some service so you can help the society to be a better place, right? The Pearl sequence has a 4 sphere. So vocation is the first one. So the first one, the vocation is indicated your role for your business. The key is 23. And your line is 4. Every line in a different sphere also indicate different energy expression. So 4 is the self. Then you love to connect with people. You want to share ideas. You want to, you learn something, this is going to be gorgeous. You start to just speak, let people know about that. So that is your genius. You're the sales, you're a connector. And for the key is 23. So 23, the upper is a mountain and the lower trigon is the earth. So when you are in the lower position to build your business, because you see so many things, because you're on the same level with every options, right? It's just like, gosh. So you start to have this complex idea how to build your business. You start to go higher. So you're on the mountain view. Now you can choose, right? Because you are above all this complexity, because you see, you can choose, oh, that aligns with me, that I feel I can do it, that I love to do it, right? So you shift it from the complexity to the simplicity.
Mhm.
And I think your language, when you connect with people, is also have that shift. You start to see what they want, other than giving all the 10 options and it's like so confused, right? So that's your role. Jinkies have all different level of consciousness. They all coexist, but it
Mhm.
just depends on how we choose to see. Most of we see the shadow because that's how we train to see. Our mind say what's wrong. The first thing to come in is that, oh, something can be fixed, right? As the mind always want to see. So in the shadow frequency, we feel overwhelmed because there's so many things to be fixed. Nothing's perfect. But in the highest one, it's called city. I believe that's a Hindu ancient word. So called city is just a pure light.
Mhm.
So in that level, actually, you kind of merge with everything. So you don't have a separation. You just flow with the light, right? In that is a quintessence. So quintessence is more like the essence, but like the whole, the one. So for you, for that shift from the 23, that you will turn the complexity become just the one eventually. But you also have the same key, different line as your life work key. That's the personal brand. So if that put together in that 4 sphere, you got 2 on the 23, it really mean you are on the path to merge and integrate all this complexity and it becomes single solution. That is really your business. But you are going to share that, right? Yeah, yeah. And for your culture key, that is the structure of your business. In the cultural key, you are 49 and the line is a 6. And again, each line has a different indication. And this time is the structure. Line 1 is the individual. Line 2 is the partnership. Line 3 is the units, like a family, business, 2 or 3 people. Then you have network as a 4. Then you have 5 as a society. It's a global kind of the community. Then you have a 6 as a system. And you are the 6, and the number is 49. So for my understanding and contemplate that sphere on your culture, 49 is the revolution people. They want to change, make things become better. So you got this as your structure and you have a system as your line. So obviously you see something you don't want to happen again. Then you want to create a system for others to ditch all these things they don't want but you're shifted from the reaction. The low vibe is a reaction, but you are not necessarily reactionary. Once you get your consciousness higher, you become revolutionary. That is the people they really want to make change, but they are not to abolish the old all of a sudden. They want to build a system or something better than the past, right? So they are gradually to evolve and really get to the structures. And of course, you couldn't work alone as a projector. You do need a lot of worker or doing person. So the coming new era or paradigms will all be projector are the administrators. They are the managers, and they will be invited to lead most of the doers, generators. They follow the lead on the projector. So we can create a new system. That's how I see this is coming out from your profile. That's very profound. And you are really doing that, right? Even you just start 10 years ago, hey, who knows? You can heal your physical problem, right? Live 300 years old. So we really need you to lead us through the process. Then your pearl, that's like a quantum structure, your personal branding, your vocation, your culture, right? So it's a quantum triangle. Then you have this pearl in this middle. And pearl, I understand, is our core. So nothing you can really do. We need to go through certain challenges and suffering, all this learning curve. But only through that we can polish the pearl, right? And your number is 63 and line is 2 because you are the mental projector. That means you only have the throat, ajna, and your head are the divine center, and all others all empty. That means you are coming here to experience people. But you also has a very steady flow in your head and your pearl. So you're 63, you're doubting a lot of things. In a young age, you don't understand. You always constant thinking, why, this and that. Because you are the 3, 5. The profile 3 is transformative changer. They want to collect a lot of information. They want to personally try it. And the 5 is really the leader, fixer. So you provide practical solutions. Actually, using some sort of a negativity, doubt, but as the driving force for people like you, right? Because you have the doubt first, so you spend time to think about the answer. Then you share, so other people can benefit from your thoughts. So I thank you for that.
Wow. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Someone like me, a Gene Key guy, I study human design is really just to explain the mechanism so you know how to see, how to relate, but the power is within. Like if you contemplate it every day, just pick out any sphere. So you can use any way to contemplate it. And the more you practice that, for me at least, I do that every day because I actually translate the whole Gene Keys book into Mandarin Chinese in 2 years. So
Wow.
every day I'm doing the contemplation and go back to Chinese hexagram because luckily I read Chinese. So I actually learn both at the same time. Whoa, so much fun. No wonder our ancestors are happy because they do nothing. They just sit there to contemplate. They can be very happy. But anyway, it's just my experience with the Gene Key.
I guess because of my doubt thing, I see what you're saying in the value of how I show up to offer my services. And that's been happening through the 3-5. But even now, what you said about, leaving the masses and going up and getting the perspective and choosing what and who to work with, that is where I am right now. And the other thing that you said of implementing systems, that's the only thing where the doubt works against me, simply because after I've done the analysis from this doubting point of view, then going out and attracting the right people and the right invitations who see that value in me, that's my challenge. But that for people to see my gifts, for people to send me the right invitations. The way that you see me today when you're looking at my chart, I guess I'm waiting for that point when people will invite me in to share that. And so to that end, for the last 3 years, I've been basically just showing up and offering my services, talking to people on podcasts, writing so that I can reach more people. And I work in anthologies. And even as far as my work for the world, I'm doing it in collaboration. I'm very aware that as a
Yes.
projector to go it alone is is not the smart or the right thing to do energetically as well as expertise wise. Like if I set up a program that I try to sell, then first I have to sell myself and then wait for the right invitations and all of that. Whereas if a few of us get together and do an offering together, then there's something for everyone. And not every voice is for every ear, and not every stage is for everybody. So if we can offer a range of services at the same time to people who are on the self-awareness journey, then it works for everyone. So that's where I am right now. But like you said,
Mhm.
the pearl's going to
Mhm.
work itself out anyway, right? Whether I do anything or not.
Yeah, yeah, because that is the special gift. It shines through us once we follow our design, follow our excitement and joy, and be patient. I think that's the top powerful generator in everybody. It's a wait to be invited. So
Exactly.
it's just it's just so hard to be patient like that. But I think we all design the perfect timing to collect enough information and understand ourselves in a deeper level. Then people will spot us. You're different. You look happy. You know something. Then I think that time is just going to be right when the student ready, teacher will show up. So the student is getting ready for us,
Hmm.
and you are just going to show up in the right place. That's what I believe you, because you are just like a light. Whenever you go, just like today, we will try to set out your light to follow you all the places. We finally get to the right direction. You don't have too much light. Yeah. So you're really just doing that, right? Everywhere you go. Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
So, well, I wonder people if they want to connect with you and have conversation. Where is the best place for them to connect?
So to be fair, the best place actually in today's day and age is Instagram. So my handle, it's nsshakti.author. So you can send me
Okay.
messages. I'll be happy to connect. I am doing that collaboration that I mentioned to you, as we're called it the Goddess Mastermind, and there's four of us
Wow.
offer, and human design's part of it. So there's human design, energy clearing, ancestral clearing, and energy work. There's a lot of other things coming up. Like in August, I'm going to be in the UK. In September, I'm going to be in the USA. And so I do believe that I'm being led onto that path for a lot of different opportunities and collaborations. So for sure,
Yeah.
there'll be a
Yeah.
lot to share. And I'm honored to have come here and shared my journey so far. And I'll be delighted if people continue following me to see my onward adventures and join me wherever they see fit. Thank
Well, I always ask the question is your definition for possibility. You want to share your view?
acceptance and surrender to what is. So, in that
Mm.
seated gratitude, in our whole, the way we show up in the world today is aspirational. Advertising, marketing, the things that people have that we think we need to have to define our success. If we take a step back and we just look at where we are in life and we accept that in full gratitude for what we do have, and surrender
Mhm.
to that as a giving in to the flow, not a giving up, but just to surrender and have faith. And in that moment, there is nothing but abundance and prosperity. If you can be in that moment, there's no lack there in
Wow.
that moment.
Yeah. Thank you for that description. I love it. And any parting message you want to share before we close our conversation?
If you haven't started on your self awareness journey, jump in. Like I shared, all roads lead to Rome. So, any modality, just try to start walking on the path towards self empowerment, which means the ability to live in the present moment in balance and alignment, a place where your past no longer matters. Yes, we are a sum of our experiences, but they don't define us. If we can just be in gratitude for those experiences and let them go with full forgiveness and acceptance for the lessons, so we can live in the present moment and we can think about the future because that's important. But the future's
Yes.
role should just be a place to put a pin in and leave expansion over there because the universe will work around that pin in ways that we cannot even imagine. It's always bigger and better than we could have ever imagined. So even when you're manifesting, yes, you have to be specific. That's the pin, but don't specify anything else because then you'll be losing out on way more. Because you know that saying that man proposes and God disposes? That's exactly what happened. You can make all your plans. What's going to happen is going to happen. So you may as well surrender to it with gratitude and joy. I truly believe this. I'm not just
Wow.
pontificating. I really believe this truth, and this is what
Mhm.
I live in my life on a daily basis.
Quintessence statement. Just like be there, be you, be the lights. Gosh, I so appreciate you, Natasha. And I wish the best for everything you want to do. We want to see the system. We want you to live forever so it can lead us to the right place. So I appreciate you.
Thank Thank you. This has just been absolutely an amazing conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
I know.